10 reasons why the scale says you gain weight overnight according to experts. You step on the scale one morning and you're totally on track. The next morning you're up 5 pounds. Is overnight weight gain a thing? It's a confusing experience that happens to many people trying to lose weight. But you didn't actually gain 5 pounds of fat in a single day. After all, gaining a single pound of fat requires consuming about 3,500 calories more than you can burn off. So to gain 5 pounds in a day, you'd have to eat nearly 20,000 calories in just 24 hours. But gaining 5 pounds of water weight in a day, that's easy, says George Fair, RD, CSSD, author of Lean Habits for Lifelong Weight Loss. It's important to know that your weight will fluctuate on a daily basis, but it doesn't mean that your weight loss strategy is failing. Before you worry over a higher than normal scale number, know that it's pretty common to have those days. If you did one of a number of different things the day or night before, it's not unusual to notice an increase in your weight of a few ounces or pounds. Again, coding chalks most of this up to water weight, but if you notice your weight continuing to trend upwards over time, this could indicate actual weight gain. How much can your weight fluctuate in one night? There is nothing that happens in your body overnight that magically makes you gain weight. Your metabolism doesn't stop, so gain or lose weight anytime. That's also true if you happen to eat more than usual on any given day. Your body wouldn't suddenly make you gain weight overnight. With higher calorie day or two, metabolism increases to compensate, so fat won't be immediately made and stored. The opposite is true as well. If you undereat for a couple of days, your metabolism will slow to compensate before losing weight. So there is really no hard and fast number. Sorry, but your weight can change a couple pounds depending on your straight weight. If you want to get really technical, that a 0.5% weight gain can happen, but it shouldn't be any more than that. If it is, and the weight has staying power, it is recommended checking your scale and calling a doctor. But experts assure that a lot of overnight weight gain can be explained pretty easily. Consider these 10 factors that may make it seem as you gain weight overnight. Number 1, you hit the gym hard. After a heavy workout, especially if you perform big compound movements that recruit a lot of large muscles, you can easily weigh a few extra pounds for several days. Number 2, you tend to drink a lot of alcohol in the evening. For starters, alcohol has empty calories, so you can be taking in more calories than you realize without feeling full. Coding points out, and if you eat your usual amount when you or tend to lean into the wine munchies pretty heavily, that can lead to a higher number on the scale. Also, alcohol is dehydrating, which can lead to water retention that look like weight gain on the scale. Number 3, you consumed a lot of salt. Regardless of whether the chips are baked or fried, excess sodium intake leads to immediate water weight gain that can lead to swollen ankles and a belly bulge from a swelling in your intensities. Apart from the water retention, munching on salty snacks cause constipation too. Number 4, you've started a high protein, low carb diet. Fiber is critical to keeping your digestive system working at its best. So when you missed out on fiber from whole grains, fruit and starchy vegetables, you're bound to get backed up, says Dr. Elner. If you don't go for several days, that internal traffic jam can translate to a couple pounds of retained matter. While Dr. Elner recommends that anyone on a high protein, low carb diet take a fiber supplement to keep things moving, an even better option is to only reduce refined carbohydrates like pasta and keep whole grains, veggies, fruit and as part of your diet. Number 5, you're dehydrated. When you're dehydrated, you usually weigh less because your muscles and tissues are sucked dry, making you feel miserable, but the lack of H2O throws your kidneys into let conserve fluids mode, says Fair adds. But don't worry, after a few days of hydrating properly, your kidneys will get back to normal along with your weight. Number 6, you might have a food intolerance. An intolerance to foods like dairy, fructose, eggs, shellfish, gluten, artificial sweeteners, soy, and many other can cause bloating and water retention, especially in your gut, says Dr. Elner. If you notice that you feel heavier or actually weigh more after eating certain foods, talk to your doctor or registered dietitian before eliminating them. Number 7, you started eating pasta again. When you cut back on your carb intake, your body's glycogen stores, its prime energy source for high intensity exercise, become depleted because as soon as you dive into some spaghetti, your body starts storing glycogen in your muscles and liver along with H2O. The sudden influx of these two nutrients after a long stretch of being carb-free could leave you bloated, Fair says. The best solution include a moderate amount of whole grain carbs in your diet daily to prevent the cycle of weight coming on and off. Number 8, you started new medication. Medication like antihistamines, insulin, and some antidepressants cause rapid weight gain for a bunch of reasons. Some medications can either cause your body to retain water, activate or increase your appetite, or even reduce your metabolism and increase fat storage, says Dr. Convicton, who adds the weight gain is even more likely on medication that limits your ability to exercise or stay active. Number 9. You ate your last meal later than normal. The closer to bed, the less likely your body will use that food up as fuel, since you aren't really up to much besides maybe dreaming while you're sleeping. Food eaten at night is more often stored as fat because we tend to be less active, so we increase fat storage at that time, especially depending on the composition of the food you ate later in the evening. Carbs, specifically if not burned, are stored as fat, she adds. Lastly, number 10. You're on a diet that's too restrictive. If you drop too much weight or fat too fast or in a way that your body registers that something is wrong, it will try to store the fat that's available more aggressively. This is a survival response ingrained in our physiology. The brain does not understand dieting, but it understands fat loss very well, and often if we diet incorrectly, the brain interprets this as something unhealthy happening, says Dr. Convicton. Storing fat is the body's attempt to keep us safe, she adds.